the Bank of Canada had their policy meeting this morning, and as expected, they cut 50 basis points. Now, going into the meeting, the OAS markets were pricing around 45 basis points of cuts. So it was largely priced into the market. All of the big five Canadian banks, all their economists are forecasting 50 basis points going into the meeting. So essentially, it was well telegraphed and not surprising to the markets. However, we did see, interestingly enough, a slight pop in longer term yields after the meeting. This is because sort of the language and the tone of the statement and the presser. So Tiff Macklem sort of seems not really one and done, but he did say, further cuts or further policy moves will be more gradual. So right now the market has just over 50 basis points more in cuts, so just over 2 more cuts. 50 basis point cuts are done now, I think, for sure. So now it's either pause or 25. They've cut 5 consecutive meetings for a total of 175 basis points. That's quite aggressive. They've gone down from 5% down to 3.25%. However, next meeting is January 29th. Obviously, it'll be data dependent. Early, I want to say they could probably pause there and then kind of go from there and see what's happening. Surprisingly enough, the markets have a price around 65% probability of a cut at the next meeting. To me, that's quite surprising. Obviously, the inauguration in January of Trump, there's a lot of uncertainty around what happens in the US with policy and the implications on Canada. So in my view, it wouldn't really make sense for them to cut again, coming off 2 back-to-back outsized and very aggressive rate cuts. So at this early stage, in my view, I could see a pause at the next meeting. And then going forward after that, it'll really be a meeting by meeting decision. So how does the data look? What's going on in the US? How's employment looking? How's GDP? The statement today and the presser, they did talk about softer GDP. So last print was 1%. The expectations for Q4 is it'll be softer. And then next year, they did talk about even lower immigration levels have an impact on GDP. So part of the reason why GDP has been half decent this year and we haven't necessarily been in a technical recession is because of the massive increase in population, which is masking some of the weakness in the economy. And on a per capita basis, we certainly are quite weak and probably have been in a recession. But a lot of the population growth is kind of masking again some of that weakness. So they cut 50 basis points today. Going forward, probably more gradual cuts. That being said, obviously they're back-to-back 50 beep cuts, so 100 basis points. Maybe the bank is a little concerned about the strength of the economy. And next year will be very interesting. Will they continue to ease to help us stave off a recession? Or will they sort of pause and keep rates where it is to sort of keep some tools in the toolbox as U.S. policy starts to play out with the Trump administration? As usual, if you have any questions, please reach out. Happy to answer any questions.